We did it! It's the finale of our off-grid bathroom.
Welcome back to Life in the North 40. I'm Rick.
And I'm Brittany, and this is the final installment of turning a garden shed kit into an off-grid bathroom.
We're excited for the reveal. It's pouring rain, fall has arrived, and thank goodness we're done.
Last summer, we built an off-grid cabin. The only thing it didn't have was a bathroom, so it was hard to stay down there for long periods of time. So we decided this summer to convert a garden shed kit into an off-grid bathroom. Now we can enjoy our off-grid cabin at all times. The bathroom turned out even more high-end than we ever anticipated. I sure think you're gonna love it.
Well, I went with this prime shiplap. This I went with because it was pre-primed. It's a white chalky color, which I really love for a bathroom. It really brightens it up. So this went up pretty quick and easy. It's rough cut and primed. There's some scrapes and imperfections, but this is an off-grid bathroom. Got a little gap here. This is flush here. I am not going to nail this side because I'm going to come up from the bottom up over here, work my way around the window and up to this board. So I may need some play, but I am going to definitely nail and secure this side. And we're going to get a pencil line on the back edge of this, and we're going to make it flush with the bottom of this windowsill. Because I'm going to trim these windows out with something, and I don't know what yet. But I want to have a nice clean cut. Unfortunately with my jigsaw I'm not completely perfect, but we'll go slow. So we want that to be flush with the windowsill or a little below, and it is the whole way. A little below down here, and we're off the edge here and off the edge here. So if I want to box this in with some window sills and window trim, which I think I do, we're going to be set. I am going to cut this next one below the plexiglass. So that angle is going to work. I had a piece of scrap. Just checking before I cut the long one. Looks good. And this is really brightening it up and making this a nice space. Right now I want to get my pass-through in. I'm going to have an inverter up here. Down below me on the floor, I'm going to have a Mr. Buddy heater in here that can run off of two 1-pound propane tanks. But I do have the adapter hose for it that connects to a normal propane bottle. So I wanted to create a pass-through for that hose with a quick connect to come through the wall, but I want it to be containerized and sealed. So no moisture is going to get in, no airflow, no bugs. That will pass from the box to inside the cabin. Alright, so here's my 2-inch pass-through. I've got my rough template there with the center bit marked. I am using a 2.5 hole saw because this is inside diameter 2 inches, a little wider on the outside, so that should be a pretty snug fit. So first I'm going to get a pilot hole through so I can get into the wall and see where we're at. I may go both ways so I don't rip those wall boards up. So we're getting layer by layer removed out of here is the inner insulation. So we got our pilot hole through there, and we went through a layer of insulation, the plastic box, the siding, the inside insulation, and then the wall boards, and then the framed stud depth. Now that fits through there. Not too bad. So we got our hole through here, and I want to go through this way now. If I had to come through the back side, which I didn't have enough length anyway, I'd have chipped up these wall boards pretty good, so you want to come from this side. I'm gonna pass through here. We're gonna get one of these nuts here to make sure it seats on these wall boards and doesn't pass through all the way, but catches that. And that's pretty good. I'm just wanting this to snug up, so I'm gonna get some layers of this on there. Plus this is good, almost rubberized, insulated, so this is going to PVC, so this will provide a good seal. That is way better now. There we go. That's what we wanted. The expansion foam is a no-go. What I'm doing is I'm getting this tape stuck to the pipe and then sealing that gap all the way around little by little. This is just a layman's way to do this. I'm not a pro, I'm a Joe, but I wanted it to be cheap, easy. There's probably 100 ways to crack this nut, but this is the way I'm doing it. I've got my inverter lines in for the eventual inverter that'll be up on this shelf. And then I've got my quick connect LP propane cable or hose for my Mr. Buddy heater. Got this block created out of some scrap 6x6 that I had, cedar, that we're gonna create pass-through for our wiring so we can mount our light fixture to this. Basically, I just made a custom light box out of some scrap that I had. You've got our hole here, my fingers coming in. That's where the wire will be coming in. The fixture will sit over the top of this. You can see here, my finger through there. I dumped all that sawdust right down my shirt. That was fun. I got some 2.5-inch construction screws to really suck this thing tight. Too shabby. Now I did skin these wires to do tests, which is not going to help me. Power is off. Fish those through, they can hang up, but I made a big enough hole, so we're good. Here is our line, and we definitely have more than enough. All right, positive is this left wire. So we're going to use a couple wire nuts. Before I seat this and fasten it up to the bracket, I'm gonna go put some bulbs in this baby real quick, and we're gonna do a test fire, turn the power on. Make sure this works. Nice. I like it. There we go. Anytime I'm on a ladder working overhead, I have to drop everything at least 5 to 6 times. Have to. All right, that's tight. This is a RV style light from Amazon with its own switch. Turn this thing on and off from below. So you want to use the cabin or that light. Brittany can just walk over here, or anybody. Go ahead and let's turn on our main power switch. Shut off. And come on in here. And boom. The light is on. So that will just leave it on the fixture itself, and that way we can just activate the master power switch, and then boom, you got light. What do you got there, Murph? So Murph just appeared out of nowhere, and he brought me this Kong toy that has been missing for over a year. All right, let's throw it for him. Here, Murph. Leave it out. There he goes. little at a time. So we got this cut and trimmed around our pipe here. That took a little bit of tweaking with the jigsaw. So we can get that nailed in, and then we're gonna have this next run where we're gonna have to custom cut or drill holes for our piping, and I may have to readjust that to give me enough room to crimp the shutoff valves. Those have to go in, that male portion in, and be crimped. So I'm gonna have to have room to do that. So I may have to put a coupler and it'll make these longer. We're gonna find out. It's gonna be the most difficult piece right here, this one and this one, because of the pipes. I knew this was gonna be a little tenuous. I cut those little stubs too short. I had to add a little coupler behind here to extend my pecs out. And I also have to give myself enough room to crimp this stuff. We got these Eustachians covering our holes because the holes are a little oversized. They're 3/4 holes. And we had enough room to crimp here for our shutoff valves. Here's our hot and our cold. You normally do a hard pipe coming out. Even if you're running PEX in the wall, you'll do a copper L or a bracket to come out. So these are static and solid. I didn't do that. This is an off-grid bathroom. This isn't necessarily to code. I'm not getting permitted or inspected. And these are good and sturdy. The way I have them pushed from the elbow out up against the wall. Remember, I have those securing brackets fairly close to that elbow to keep these really good and static. Now we're just gonna be able to plug and play and keep popping up the wall. These are 53-inch runs, so now I can just boop, 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 up to the window. So I'm gonna wanna put my switch probably like right here for the wires. That's about right. I think I'm gonna put my sconce up higher up here, so I'm gonna pull my wires up. All right, let's test that. So we got our light up and we got our switch here for our fan. Fan. It's nice. Well, that's a first. Everything's perfectly cut, so I'm gonna tack that in. That's a good thing. So now we're gonna measure for here. We're gonna have to drill our hole through this piece for our fixture to sit right about here, and that's gonna be roughly the same height as the one over here. All right, so this is as high as we're gonna go with the boards on this wall. So this wall is complete. We got our sconce installed, and I just basically centered it between the two sets of two windows. Think it's looking good. Let's test it and make sure it's wired correctly and we got power. Nice. Looking pretty good. I will put a little caulking around that bottom gap, just about 1/8 of an inch. I hope that fits good. Oh, nice. Okay. All right, that's given me some nice flush sides on both sides that made up nice with the shiplap. All right, now that we got the shims in place, those are 3/8 from the highest point of the floorboard there and that edge of the skirting, which is actually a little higher than the floor, but we got it 3/8. That's the gap from the bottom that it said in the directions. So we're gonna get this set in place. Okay, now we got this sitting on our shims. We need to have it evenly spaced from side to side, so it's all the way this way flush. Okay, let's do it. All right.
Almost buttoned up inside.
So, thing of beauty, isn't it? Attach hinges, okay. So we're gonna need a 1/4 inch above between these two doors. This will seat tight because inside we're gonna have a barrel lug, and that can only go in until after I do the wall boards because these have to be flush from here to up and inside. Sarge, where's Mommy?
Can you believe that we got our door on finally? Isn't that the sweetest Dutch door ever?
So we had about a good 1/4 inch gap here from our floorboard to our skirt trim here. So I went ahead and put some backer rod down in there and kind of smoothed it in. Now we're gonna get some clear silicone in there. It goes on white and it'll dry clear just to seal that gap so that we don't get moisture going down into that crack over time. Had extra caulking anyway, might as well do it. We're going to get our water supply lines in. These water supply lines have the internal compression fitting for these. They go into a 1/2 inch, and that's what the sink has for the outlets. Nice measurements. Let's see. Oh, nice stud fit. There we go. All right, well, now that we got the insulation in, I've already got one of these wall board measurement boards cut. It will fit inside these 2 door stops that I installed earlier. Trick is holding this, grabbing my gun, juggling, standing on 1 foot. I knew I was uncoordinated, and then this proved it. Well, we're gonna go ahead and knock out our door trim because I want to get that barrel on the door so we can close those two portions together from the inside and make them rigid. So now we can run our header across the top. We're giving ourselves 2 inches extra outside edge of those vertical trim boards. Now let's check our door shutting scenario again. I've got a nice snug fit. Everything's closing nice. The supplied barrel lock to keep the doors together will not work on this. Because of these, it's just too small. So I need one that's bigger so I can get further into this board here where it's more flush. We're gonna get a new barrel lock to keep the doors together. And I'm also gonna get one of those indoor little hook latches. So if someone's using this, they want their privacy, they're in the shower or whatever, they can do a hook latch. So there's too much play here. I need to get a shim underneath this. Moment of truth. Let's see if that's going to work or if it's going to be too far out. We want it to be snug. It's all the way flush now. There's no play in that. And that's exactly what we wanted. There's that angular cross member 2x3 that runs from corner to corner in the door. What I'm trying to do is position this in a place that's obviously user-friendly from the inside to pull this shut. But I didn't just want to anchor this into the wall boards with a hollow back. Eventually it would just pull those wall boards out. So I really needed to anchor this into a very solid spot. Of these antlers, I'm going to make a small divot here with the drill bit to sink those in a little bit, just to kind of further set that in and anchor it. And that screw is about dead on, I hope, where that cross member is. This is all custom. I'm making it up as I go. Okay, so that's kind of pulling out of here. That face of that screw is kind of not sitting flush against the antler, but that's okay. That's the only way we can get it in there. So, man, that's good and firm now. Let's do a test from the inside and let's pull it shut. Nice. Works great. So now I can pull on that, torque it a little bit, and we can lock our hook latch. Turned out nice. Look who's taking a little siesta and a break in here on the inside. He's my first customer, the first one to enjoy the off-grid bathroom, Murph. This morning, we're gonna get these windows trimmed out. What we're needing to do first is we're needing to box the insides of these windowsills to give them that finished look with this finished grade pine. This is 3/4 inch thick. And this was 2.5 inch wide material. I had to rip this to 2 1/8. All right, I've been excited about this, getting these in. This beautiful guy. Beautimous. When the morning sun comes in, it's gonna come in right through here and shine. Plus this gives privacy. People will be in here showering. Not that we really need a ton of privacy. We're in the middle of the woods on our property. But the toilet's gonna go kind of right below this window. So I just think that's really going to give us some artsy touches, if you will, an artsy touch, plus its beauty, right? And if we're going to do something, we might as well make it beautiful. Cardinal, blue jay, which we have some of these on our property every day. We see them, we have them flying and eating out of our bird feeder and stuff. These make it feel like a little sanctuary in here. All right, well, I'm sitting on our porta potty toilet, the 565 curve porta potty. I just want to get our tentative location for our toilet paper holder. So I have another antler for that. And this thing was recommended, this toilet, you use the biodegradable RV style toilet paper, which this is not. But I'm just going to use this for our dry fit. I've got a nice stud right here, which is perfect. And I'm only going to have to do one screw, it looks like. We got to do a lot of things in life automatically. One of them's going to the bathroom. So why not make it a pleasant experience, you know? Because we hit a stud, that thing is really firm in there. And I like that angle. You can kind of pull it down and tear it. This planting shed came with 3 of these cedar slat shelves for planting. And they've got slots in them. They're all cedar. They came with 2 long ones and 1 short one. I'm only going to use the 1 long one against the sink wall, hence the sink here, and the short one will butt up to this towards the toilet on the window bank wall. This drop-in area where the bracket is going to have to be cut into the stud about maybe 1/4 of an inch, maybe just over 1/4 of an inch. Didn't want to do that and affect the structural support factors of this, but it isn't going to be much. So I had to take 2 boards off on either side of the area I had to trim and cut because my jigsaw couldn't get into notch. So I didn't even need to cut these, but they're in the way. I need you to unkink that hose.
Okay.
All right, let's do a 1/4 inch gap with that carpenter pencil. Put it in the middle. Okay, gotta make sure we're flush. All right, so this is for our sink. All right, that sink, we've cut it out perfect. Took a lot of doing with the jigsaw, a lot of tweaking, and looks like it's good on those brackets on the inside. Before we mount it, we're going to check center on the window, and I measured 800 times. We want the counter height to be 35 inches from the floor. I'm going to have to get it where I want it, then I'm going to have to run screws in. That's good enough. What I'm going to do is I'm going to see if this arm's tight,
Okay.
and I'm going to screw it in, and that'll change things, and then we'll adjust. Okay, so keep holding it. Now it's not going to move, okay? Okay, is it good?
Yes.
Okay, good. This channel, and those are going to grab our counter or wood. Okay, let's go over to one. There. You can see that plumber's putty coming out a little bit, and that's good. It's going to seal the drain. Okay, we're going to seat this really good. Hot, cold. Slide that right on. It's going to set that center and square it once we put these on to tighten it. Then we're going to connect our water supply lines. Let's get it going. Okay. hot attachment. So last thing, getting under this booger and getting our drain put into this little sink before we do our run up of our water system. So right now I've got everything I need, but I got to get it cut to length. This is obviously too long. I'm gonna do a little test real quick with pour some water down here, see if we got any leakage. If I'd have got ahead of schedule and got the water collection system done, which I haven't because it's now fall and it's been raining all day, I probably would have filled my IBC tote by now. But because I didn't get my gutter on, which I'm gonna do shortly after hunting season, weather dependent, I'm down here with 5-gallon Army water cans. I have 3 of them so that I can run this water into our water system. And that's why they're down here. But right now I'm dumping it in the sink to check our drain.
No leakage.
Outstanding. So because I don't have my IBC tote under the cabin here installed with my rainwater collection system, to do my test and my system check on all of our plumbing, to include the sink and shower, my pump, etc., I'm just going to go ahead and put our supply end of the 3/4 PEX that runs subsurface under the ground, under the frost line, to our control box in with just an Army 5-gallon water can. And that should stay in there, and that's going to pull the water from our pump, I hope.
Whoa. That pump's pretty powerful.
I've got Pat on the inside. He's about ready to activate the shower head. Let's check out the operation of the water heater. Hit it, Pat. Oh yeah, I heard it, the clicking, it's firing, and the temperature is increasing. This is Fahrenheit, 90, 91. How's the temp, Pat?
Feels good.
Okay. It's still getting hot. We got no leaks, no issues down in our inlet water in or our hot water out. All right, go ahead and turn the shower head off. Perfect. So now we just set the temp for a comfortable 99 degrees because I set this up. If you saw the previous episode when I plumbed this, I just have the water going in to the shower, hot water only. I do not have a mixer valve. So there's no cold water. So I need this to be set at a comfortable temperature that's not too hot or too cold. Now we're gonna test hot water to the sink, and we're gonna have to push that system. All right, Pat, go ahead and hit the sink hot water. Oh wow, that's 100, now it's 106. Is it scalding hot at the faucet?
It's getting there.
Do I need to back it off?
Probably.
Too hot, 118.
I would say about 110 would probably be good.
All right, go ahead and turn it off. All right, so our water heater is tracking and working. As soon as that thing senses the pressure drop when you open a fixture, it kicks that on, immediately lights it, and it takes just seconds to get hot. So that's running off our tea from our propane here in our control box. And we don't have any leaks. And we're gonna go and see it from the inside now. Let's check it out. Everything seems to be draining well too. Looking good. I had a piece of extra spruce from the flooring of the main cabin. It was 11-inch stock. I went ahead and ripped this to 7.5-inch depth so it doesn't extend too far out when you're coming in the door. So it's set back plenty here so you're not going to catch this as you walk in or your clothes. And why I wanted this shelf is as you walk in, somewhere to set stuff as needed. Plus I've got our inverter here already. And you remember when we installed our pass-through down below, I wanted to have the wires for this inverter come through so I can take this out or use it as needed for some small appliances, like say someone's staying down here for a period of time, they have a hair dryer, hair curler, a razor. This is going to allow them to do a normal appliance that takes a normal 110 plug. This is our propane quick connect that is teed into our propane bottle that I showed you in a control box. The cool thing about this is I've got quite a bit of length. This thing will actually stretch to the other corner of this room if I needed it to, but this is my quick connect to my Mr. Buddy heater, which is going to allow us to keep this place up and running if we want to in the winter, or put into operation the water system. That's kind of the intent. And if you're staying down here and this thing's operational and you want to come in the middle of the night to go potty, you want it to be kind of warm. So that Mr. Buddy heater on low will keep this nice and toasty even during the winter with snow on the roof and allow this to be still serviceable. So we're pretty excited about that. And that just gives us a different, extra capability. Here we have my brother Pat putting together the window boxes in the final touch, because he is more of a pro carpenter than I am, because I'm a total amateur. He's putting these babies together for our final touch on under our exterior window bank. Brittany stained these, and now Pat is helping put these babies together. Pretty exciting.